We move on now, and the Brazilian President Lula da Silva and the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen met in Rio de Janeiro to discuss the final steps of a landmark free trade agreement between the European Union and Mercosur. The deal will establish the world's largest free trade zone, covering 700 million people across both regions. Lula highlighted that the agreement would create new jobs and economic opportunities, marking a significant shift for Brazil as it aims to move beyond its role as a commodity exporter and focus on producing higher value industrial goods. Von der Leyen emphasized the deal's importance, stating it sends a strong message to the global market, reinforcing the EU's commitment to economic partnerships with Latin America. This agreement concludes 25 years of negotiations between the EU and Mercosur, a regional bloc that includes Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay. Let's listen in to what Lula da Silva, the Brazilian president, had to say in regards to the deal.
O acordo que será assinado amanhã em Assunção, no Paraguai, é bom para o Brasil, é bom para o Mercosul. Continuaremos trabalhando para abrir mais mercados e para construir novas parcerias no mundo todo, em particular com o Canadá, México, Vietnã, Japão e China.
Alison joins us once again. Alison, the establishment of the world's largest free trade zone, how is this expected to affect the people of the European Union and, of course, South America?
Well, I mean, Europe has been struggling, and it does make sense, this trade agreement, and it should boost trade. Obviously, it's going to boost trade, but it also, as Lula said, it will create jobs. It will create jobs in the European Union and the South American countries which are in Mercosur. So it is a win-win situation for Europe and for the countries that are in Mercosur in South America.
And of course, we've seen protests too, mainly from European farmers when it comes to this. Is there any, there's also obviously worry that they're going to get crushed by these cheap imports coming in from South America. Are they going to be heard at all, or is this deal done and dusted now?
It seems to be done and dusted, but European farmers, EU farmers in the EU, have traditionally been given subsidies. So I don't see why that would stop, but obviously they do fear the competition, they do fear cheap imports because generally speaking the standard of living in South America is a bit lower than in most of the EU. So yes, they do have right for concerns and they do have political voice, the European farmers. So I don't see why they will stop getting subsidies if needed, because that has traditionally happened across the EU.
Alison Mutler, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us here on NewsX World. We now move on and